So I'm kind of disappointed in the not in the paranormal community. I think everyone's been quite respectful with regards to this, but more so the news outlets that have covered the Dan Rivera passing. Obviously, a couple of days ago, at the time of you guys seeing this, we've had the news, and unfortunate news, that Dan Rivera of the New England, social research for psychic research group, sadly passed away whilst he was on the tour for Annabelle, the Devil on the Run tour. And, of course, there was a really touching tribute from Cody and Satori. There was a really touching tribute from the NESPR themselves. There was touching tributes from across the community. But, of course, as news articles do, and as TikTokers do, they've taken this. They've seen that the guy that was handling the Annabelle doll suddenly passes away. Unknowingly, the cause of death hasn't even been released yet. And everyone's just like, I'm going to put two and two together and make five. Annabelle was the reason that this person passed away. And, of course, you can understand why that would be the thought process. Clicks, views, numbers, all the rest of it. But it comes across as incredibly disrespectful to the family, to the man that's just, passed away, to the friends and loved ones of this person that they have tragically lost. And I'm disappointed. So there have been a multitude of videos obviously released across social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the rest of it, starting with this one right here. Breaking news is creepy AF.
I have some breaking news, and it is creepy AF. So a lot of y'all are familiar with this. The Annabelle doll. The same doll that's been on a cross-country tour. The same doll that was in Louisiana at the time that inmates broke out of jail, like 10 of them, and that a plantation caught on fire. The same Annabelle doll that the original handler said should never leave its home, should never be out of this specially made case, right? And jump scare warning, the same Annabelle that this movie was based on. Well, this man right here is 54-year-old Dan Rivera, and he is the current handler of it. He just dropped dead completely unexpectedly of completely unknown causes. Now, this happened when he stopped over in Gettysburg during his Devils on the Run tour. He apparently had the doll with him, at least that's what reports are saying. And then calls came in that something was going on. He was given CPR and just didn't make it. He seemed otherwise completely healthy. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know whether or not I believe in a possessed doll or not, but I can tell you this, there is no way in hell I would get anywhere near that doll. With all that said, drop your thoughts about this in the comments. Do you believe in stuff like this? What do you think happened to him? And as always, make sure to hit that follow button if you don't already.
Now, you've got to imagine, okay, that there's a family, grieving family, friends and loved ones who have just lost their loved one, for unknown causes. And then media speculation starts to circulate that the Annabelle completely overshadows this man's unfortunate passing. I don't know, it just rubs me the wrong way. It feels wrong, it feels like it just feels wrong. Now, the New York Post have also chimed in on this, as they've made an article. Paranormal investigator Dan Rivera dies suddenly on Annabelle Haunted Doll Tour. Paranormal investigator died suddenly on Sunday night while touring with the infamously supposed haunted Annabelle doll, his tour organisers have announced. Dan Rivera, the US Army veteran, was in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania with his sold-out Devils on the Run tour when firefighters and medics were rushed to his hotel. CPR was performed, but Rivera, 54, died according to the New England Society for Psychic Research, where he was a lead investigator. His exact cause of death remains unclear. Now, obviously, let's bear this part in mind because, besides speculation, this is the fact, okay? Rivera was featured in The Paranormal Investigator on the Travel Channel's Most Haunted Places and served as the producer for the number of shows including Netflix's 28 Days Haunted. As part of his tour, Rivera was traveling around the US with the members of the NESPR to show off Annabelle, the creepy alleged haunted doll. His death came after he finished 3-day sellout stop in Gettysburg from Friday through Sunday, hosted by ghostly images of Gettysburg tours at the Soldiers National Orphanage, the NESPR said on Monday. instantly we're kind of drawing it straight back to Annabelle. Rivera, who has survived by his wife Sarah and 4 children, used social media, including viral TikToks, to bring the tour to international attention. Fellow paranormal investigator Ryan Buell paid tribute to Rivera. I've had so many amazing memories with this guy. Just as recently as 2 months ago, we travelled around the country and introduced a whole new generation to Ed and Lorraine Warren's legacy, he wrote on TikTok. Annabelle, a Raggedy Ann doll, was tied to a series of supposed hauntings in the 1970s after being given to a Connecticut nursing student named Donna. Ed and Lorraine Warren, the famous paranormal investigators, claimed the doll psychically lifted its own arms, followed people around the apartment, and would display other frightening or malicious behaviour. The couple also claimed that Annabelle had stabbed a police officer and caused a car crash involving a priest. A psychic medium claimed that the doll was inhabited by the spirit of a 6-year-old girl called Annabelle, and the Warrens said that it was demonically possessed and moved to the doll to their museum in Connecticut. The Warrens, who founded the NESPR in 1952, investigated a number of mysterious cases, including the Amityville Horror House and Long Island and the Annabelle doll. And then it kind of goes on to talk a bit more about Ed and Lorraine Warren and the museum. So, unfortunately, this man's passing, this tragic passing, which should be paid tribute itself, is becoming completely overshadowed by the narrative of the Annabelle doll. Now, was this to be expected? Possibly. You can understand why people would jump to this conclusion. Haunted Annabelle doll, the most haunted in the world, obviously, featured in many films, including the Conjuring franchise. Man dies. Handler dies. You can see why people have jumped to this narrative. Is it right? No. But there's just more videos like this.
Dan Rivera just died suddenly during a haunted tour. Before I get into all the details, my name is Riri. I am an entertainment and pop culture news reporter, and you can follow me for more videos like this. Now let's get into it. In case you're unaware, the Annabelle doll is believed to be demonically possessed. There's a long and pretty scary history surrounding the doll. 54-year-old Dan Rivera was on tour with Annabelle. He was an Army veteran and lead paranormal investigator. Dan worked with the New England Society for Psychic Research. He was in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and was found unresponsive in his hotel room. Dan's cause of death has not been publicly disclosed. According to TMZ, emergency crews performed CPR, but he sadly did not make it. Dan was involved in paranormal research and investigation for over a decade. He had witnessed paranormal events in his own home from an early age. His workplace shared a Facebook post mourning the loss. They say, "We are heartbroken and still processing this loss." Dan truly believed in sharing his experiences and educating people on the paranormal. Just a few days ago, he shared a video of Annabelle arriving in Gettysburg. I think it's really eerie that Dan is an Army veteran and he passed away in Gettysburg, which is believed to be one of the most haunted battlefields in American history. Not sure if there's any correlation there or if it's just a coincidence, but it does give me chills. If you are familiar with the history of the Annabelle doll, then you may remember Ed and Lorraine Warren, who have both passed away. They actually founded the company that Dan worked for before his passing. Here is a little bit of history on Ed and Lorraine in case you're not familiar. Ed and Lorraine explicitly warned Dan never to remove Annabelle from her glass case. Although he reportedly received permission from the Warren estate to travel with the doll, in 2024 he did say that they never opened the case. He said the doll stays locked in. That's what Lorraine instructed, and we respect that. The Warrens believe that the only thing keeping the evil contained in Annabelle is the glass case that she is put in. And like I said, Dan followed that rule, at least publicly. The details surrounding his death are still unclear. Either way, it is such a tragedy. He was only 54 years old. Sending his friends and family so much love during this time. Let me know your thoughts down below. And
do you know what I mean? It's like the narrative always spins back to Annabelle, and I don't know. I just feel like it rubs me the wrong way. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Obviously, let's try and keep the focus on the passing, and respect that and respect the family, because I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments while you're down there. I'll speak to you later. Peace.